Hey there, and welcome to the latest episode of the Mind Body Health podcast with myself, Dave Sheahan, high performance consultant, and now for over 25 years, do my best to educate, motivate, and I do hope inspire you to lead your best life, become the best you can be, and keep emphasizing that you can do, be, and have whatever you want in life. It's just about taking action and just being clear on your dream and just consistently moving forward towards what it is that you want to get. On this podcast, we put a huge emphasis, of course, on mind, body, and health, which we see as the foundation of achieving everything, because it does act as a catalyst. When you've control of mind, body, and health, it has a catalyst on every area of your life. So myself and guests will share our own personal experiences, share what we do, our challenges throughout life, how we've overcome them, and the importance of mind, body, and health in every aspect of our life. On this particular episode, I'm delighted to have Dean Howell on as our special guest. He's an ex-professional footballer. He's the founder of Revolution Foods and Raw Sports, organic plant-based sports nutrition supplements. He's super passionate about health. He's a great role model, and he's always across social media sharing what he's doing, sharing his beliefs, sharing what he does in life, being, as I said, a good role model and emphasizing the importance of mind, body, and health. So live from the UK, welcome, Dean. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you on here. And, we've met very briefly at a couple of events in VegFest over the years in the UK, and admired what you do from afar, of course, and love what you do, because we're on the same page in terms of our passion about health and well-being and the importance of people actually taking responsibility. And I like, again, kind of bullshit approach, and that you tell things straight, like there's no kind of pussyfooting around.
yeah, which can be a downfall, I think, from some people's views.
Yeah, like people don't like being told straight the way things are and the way they should live, and that it's actually up to them. It's not up to someone else to take care of their health and well-being. So I really like that about you, because I'm very much the same way. And I think it's important that there's more of that, because there's too much kind of glossing over things. There's too much allowing people to not take personal responsibility for their lives, when at the end of the day, it's up to us exactly how we live, and we're in control of our present, what our past and the future we're going to go into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, with me being so passionate and me really wanting to voice my personal opinion, obviously being a business owner also, there has to be some kind of middle ground there where I have to kind of tow the boat, as you'd say, because ultimately what I say can affect sales.
Of course.
And for me, that is really frustrating. But I understand that if people disagree with you, it may deter them from wanting to buy from your brand. So, I'm not really one for holding back, but also at the same hand, I need to be conscious that my opinion on life and life events and, personal experience can affect what the customer or client sees.
Of course.
And it kind of can reflect on my brand when the brand represents quality, plant-based, premium, the best of the best. That stands on its own. What the directors and what my personal beliefs are shouldn't really affect how people see the business. But obviously, I'm a human being going through this journey, experience it just like everyone else is. So I do believe everyone's got an opinion. We've all shaped up in our realities to have a certain outlook on life, through traumas, through success, through whatever, and everyone's trying to do the best and be the best. So everyone should kind of understand that, where everyone's been in different circumstances, different situations, and kind of respect that I'm willing to say what I feel, opposed to hold back and say what people want me to say.
Exactly.
Because for me, it's all about authenticity. So if I'm not authentic as a person, how can then my products be authentic as well? And the whole ethos of my brand, it stands for the truth. So.
And that's the conundrum. Like, that's the hard thing, especially as a business owner or as a profile, that you should be authentic, able to be authentic. You should be able to show integrity. You should be able to show your beliefs and stick to your values. But unfortunately, we live in a world where respect is kind of in short supply, and people are so attached to their opinions they won't even accept listening to someone else's opinions. And most time they'll just hammer down if they don't agree with them, instead of just being open-minded and discuss. And if they don't agree with them, don't agree with them. But respect that other people can have another opinion. And there's different ways of looking at things. And like you said, people are in different stages of their journey. And it's like, I'm sure you're a very different person, and even beliefs and stuff have changed in the last 5, 10, 20 years, just as much as I would be the same. Because again, when you're open-minded and you think and you ask questions, your views and objectives of things are going to change. Is health, world events, everything.
Yeah, sure. Right, sorry, Dave. Joe, I can smell my chagger because I put it
Oh,
on.
go on, yeah.
I can smell it just.
No problem. So like I was saying, like Dean's ex-professional footballer is going to speak through again his career. Also, he's gone since then, since his career finished, went into creating health food companies and instead being a health coach. Cool. So I want to go back, Dean. Like, look, obviously, mind, body, and health is a key thing for you in your life right now. It has been a key area for your life throughout your career, I'm sure, in various things. So I just want to go right back to even as a kid and so on. When and where and why, did it become important? When did you become even mindful of things like, the power of your mind, exercise, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a kid raised well. My mom and dad always cooked homemade meals. I was never a kid to have a load of microwave foods and My parents are fairly conscious on that and give me like meat and 2 veg. So they smoked, which I hated. I always get reminders and trauma of and experiences of just being a kid and just being there, like in the car with the windows up, just being engulfed in smoke,
smothered in smoke. Yeah.
And then I was raised in the flats. I was on a council estate in the flats, and I can remember the ceilings were like off-white yellow because the amount of
I remember places like that. Yeah.
And I can remember just being around it as a kid but my parents were obviously, they weren't aware of the passive smoking and the dangers, and I could never ever do that, I mean, to my child.
But smoking was nearly promoted as being healthy back then. Like, it definitely wasn't bad for your health. That was the way to promote it. Yeah.
I was born in 80, so my parents just didn't really have that conscious understanding of it. They smoked and they just thought, it wasn't going to kill them or it ain't going to kill us type thing. But I can always remember that as a kid thinking, what is going on? Get me out of here. But I mean, I suppose on the nutrition side, I think dairy was the first thing I questioned. I think I said to my mum one time when I was really young, "Oh, Mum, why do we drink milk from a cow? It doesn't kind of make sense." It just didn't really sit with me too well. So dairy was actually the first thing that I cut out in my diet.
What kind of age were you then when you questioned, and also then when you eventually cut out?
I questioned that. I must have been around, I swear I was around 9, 10.
Yeah, so young enough, yeah.
Something like that, 9, 10, yeah, 9, 10. And then I actually stopped drinking it, I think in my late teens. I think it was. Okay. And I just felt an instant positive from it.
It's amazing the difference it makes, isn't it? Because I know the same for myself.
I mean, like I say, I've cut out the meat, I've cut out the fish, I've cut out like a lot of stuff, but the dairy for me was the biggest positive change on my physicality, my stamina, my recovery, all that type of stuff.
Like, the impact on the lungs is incredible. Like, that's what I noticed. Like, the more I looked into it, like, I'm vegan now, 10 years, it's over 10 years. So, as I was looking into the 6 years before that, gradually moving towards being vegan, when I was researching it, reading about it, speaking to people, it made sense. And then I experimented with myself for like 6 weeks to say, look, see what happens. And during the 6 weeks, I didn't necessarily notice any huge difference. But then when I said, okay, let's go back into dairy, and I love ice cream. So I had a couple of spoons of ice cream, and within a minute, my nose started dripping a bit. And then the next morning when I went for a run, I could feel, I can't really breathe the same way. So even just in such a short period of time, the effect again of that mucus forming, I could feel it even that quickly. So for me as well, dairy is one of the earliest things I gave up. Yeah,
well, that's it. Well, the beauty is, the body's got that beautiful understanding and that wisdom, so it will tell you through symptoms. So I think a lot of people need to take heed of that and listen to the symptoms that show up. Then it allows them people to listen to that and then make changes. But I mean, like I said, the dairy industry it's a horrible industry anyway. The cows are injected, the fed foods are fed really iron inflammatory foods. So the kind of knock-on effect from that is going to become, because of basically you are what you eat, right? So if an animal is consuming the wrong foods and in the wrong environments, therefore what it passes is going to be wrong and not for. I mean, some people do get on with raw milk and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of blood types. Obviously most people are allergic to lactase, the enzyme in milk. So So yeah, I just think people just need to listen to the body and listen to these symptoms if they do get them, and try, and if they are going to consume milk, try and source a better quality milk, like a raw milk or something. But I don't think you can really get all of that anymore. But I do know people get on with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Pasteurization, all of the hormones that's pumped into, like you say, the cows and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just negative, really.
That's it. We'll all vary in terms of our impact. And I suppose that's the big scary thing with dairy, that there's so many people that won't even know it's impacting them. But at the end of the day, internally, they're going to be impacted. Health-wise can be impacted. And, besides whether we can digest or not digest, it's all the hormones, chemicals, antibiotics, all that stuff that we're taking in as a result of the animals we pumped with them.
Exactly, yeah, and I think this is the bigger issue. All these hormones now that are pumped into the cows, and also a lot of them are fed soya, which is super inflammatory for them. But they just do it to get more yield, because it makes the cows inflamed literally and grow bigger, and so they can sell it at more weights, more pound for the buck. So, but yeah, people are kind of they need to understand that this isn't a nice industry, and that in effect they are getting played.
Yeah, like it's a profit-driven world. So like if they can make these animals bigger and make them bigger faster, they make more money. So that's the simple thing.
Exactly. And then you can go deeper with like the energetic, trauma, karma side of things, where the animals have, high cortisol, high adrenaline, and that's coursing through the blood and then into the meat. And then do you want to consume that on an energetic level as well? So there's different angles to, to look at it. The spiritual conscious side of it, and just the physical mistreating of animals.
Yeah, because that's a big thing I stress, especially from the health point of view, that look, if a person truly doesn't give a shit about animal cruelty or planet or any that kind of thing, just look from the health point of view. Look at what you're consuming. It's not just meat or dairy or animal products. It's all the shit that's coming with it. Even like you said, the trauma is these animals are being literally lined up to get slaughtered. It's natural cortisol release and everything else. So we're consuming all of that. That can only have negative impact on our health.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, we tend to find a lot of people that are plant-based vegan kind of do it for that side of it, for the animal welfare side of it, where I've always pushed that people should really care about themselves. Because ultimately caring about yourself, it's like that 360 circle. Start there with self, and then you come around, and it always comes back to self anyway. So within that, you've got the spectrum of the compassion for animals, the environment. It's all within that circle. But ultimately, if you love self, it comes back around to self anyway. So if people focus on self and what's good for self, everything else in between that is a positive and gets looked after.
100%. Yeah, and it's a great way of explaining, but it's like caring for self is seen as being selfish, ironically enough, when it's actually the most unselfish thing, because if you take care of you, you can take better care of everyone else and make better decisions. That's the irony.
That's my mindset on it, yeah. And where people are like, oh, I'm happy to just pile and shovel in a load of crap into me, but as long as that cow or that goat is, or sheep's happy, I'm happy to cause self-destruct to myself. But I want that animal to be happy. And for me, there's a real big imbalance there.
Totally.
I don't get that because the creator, the power be, the most high, they, she, he, whatever it is, they want us to thrive. We're in this experience. We've got this physical avatar that we should experience and be well and respect that we've been given a chance in this dimension. Not neglect that and don't have any kind of understanding of that.
And it's like for myself, in terms of going vegan, like my initial things, and I'm very open, is it was selfish reasons. It was for me. My performance was improving, and I do triathlon, so my performance is improving. I was having very, very little injuries ever. I was recovering super fast. That's what got me into it. And then over time, it became more about animals and planet and stuff like that. But I've always loved animals. It wasn't my initial motivation for veganism.
Yeah, it's the same with me, really. It was performance based driven. I wanted to be able to better myself, wanted to be able to recover quicker, I wanted to be able to perform better. And that's how it kind of was. I went to like a lot of seminars. I researched a guy called Dr. Sabian, the alkaline diet and stuff like that. And it just took me down a rabbit hole, and then I did a lot of cleansing. And like you say, once you rid the body of certain things, you just spiritually, consciously just evolve anyway. And it just feels like you're just able then to channel and pull in universal wisdom and knowledge. And that just takes you to the whole cascade of events and what's going on, and the tricks and the levels within these dimensions and what's going on. And it's all like a simulation.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like once that door opens, like in your mind, just let little in, like you just open up to absolutely everything. You question everything, which is way everyone should be anyway. Like we spoke before we come on about, like, you know, as a kid, you question everything. Like for a lot of parents, that's what pisses them off. The kids at 2-3 years of age, you never stop asking them questions. And then the school and system starts wiping it out of you, and you're just meant to do what you're told, which is ridiculous, you know. So we need to question everything. And once you start questioning anything, literally everything.
Question what I say, question what you say, listen to question what your parents say. I think people feel the onus that the parents, you have to listen to what the parents say, but you got to think we're only kind of products of the experience from my parents, right? So we only learn what they know, so they only learn what their grandparents know, and vice versa. So traditions and ways and things can get passed down, doesn't necessarily mean it's right. You know, so if you see something within that with all these generations being passed down, you see something not right, or then question it, then act on it, research it, and try and change it. I mean, I've obviously changed things now. How my parents brought me up to how I bring my son up. You know, I've completely changed it. You know, it's been completely different. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing, but I think people feel the onus and respect to the parents, which is, you still love your parents, you still respect your parents, but you still don't have to listen to what they say or what they think think's best for you in life, not necessarily.
Yeah, well, like that, they did the best they could with the right, you know, emphasis on love, but with what they know and their level of an ability and desire to question determined what they did know, and then that passed on to you, and it's so on, like you for your son Neo and stuff. Neo, isn't that right?
Right,
yeah. It's the same like my son, like, you know, and he's nearly 17 now. So, you know, it's teaching the right habits that we feel as parents is the best way to bring them up. And I've always emphasized so much to my son about questioning, because I've questioned things for like since I was a very young age, and it's been important, and it's opened my eyes to stuff, and it's took me to where I am right now. And it's important for him in this generation to do the same versus just still be part of the system.
Yeah, sure.
So when you go back to, again, like, you know, you started questioning things a little bit early, you started questioning things like dairy, you know, where did things like even the mindset, because like you're very strong-minded, you know, you see that in terms of the career that you've had, the success you've had with your business, and what you put out there, and the way you live your life. You know, you don't, you know, like anyone, you're going to make excuses some days in your head as why I can't be arsed exercising or eating this or drinking this, but you do it anyway because you just have to. You know, mentally it's good for you. When did mindset become important for you?
I think facing adversity and rejection and being disappointed and feeling that trauma of not feeling good enough, I think that's been my biggest driver. Not making it into the English under 15 schoolboy level. That was that was like my first knockback in my career. I was at Stoke City as a schoolboy. I didn't get a scholarship there. That then hit me back. That was like really close consecutive knockbacks. And then I just trained hard. I was just like, I'm going to be a footballer, because it's all I'd known through school. Coming through school, it's like I was a good kid. I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't really try hard. It's like academically, I just knew that I was going to be a footballer. Like I just knew I was going to be a footballer. There's no second option for me. It was like that was just my mindset. I was just going to. That
was your vision. Like that was the only vision you were focused on.
My vision, yeah. I didn't even think about what if this and that happened. What if that? It was just, I'm in a football, and that was just it. I had nothing else in my head. So yeah, I went through that process, and obviously having that knockback early doors, it just made me knuckle down and training hard. I mean, I can remember when I was like 15, 16, like going for like road runs at like 1 a.m. and stuff like that. I was just obsessed.
At that age, even. That was good.
I mean, at the time I was like living with my auntie, and she always used to moan, so I used to come back and then have a shower at like, you know, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning stuff. You run around the streets. I was just obsessed with it. So I just knew fitness was something that I needed to, you know, to sort and get on top of. My cardiovascular fitness. I've always got the fast twitch fibre, so I've always been a sprinter. But I lacked that endurance. So I was, like I say, going out doing 4 or 5 mile road runs, hill runs, super steep incline runs, and yeah, it was mad. And then I got a deal in Notts County, 2-year YTS, and then a year pro.
How long after your rejection was that?
That was probably about a year.
Okay, so again, your reaction was super positive, like. Because that's the important thing for people to realize. Like when you look, life is hard. Life's going to be full of rejection, challenges. But at the end of the day, it's your reaction to all these things that matter.
Yeah, for sure. And then going through this lesson, I see now kids and that get rejected from an early age, and it's really disappointing that they fall away from the game or fall away from something they want to do just because one person said no. It's like, it's basically football. It's all opinions, and one person's opinion doesn't really mean much. Well, it does mean much at the time because it can obviously dictate and sway what happens with the following seasons and where you go. But just persevere with it, work even harder, and you will be able to get to where you want to get to. And that's it. A lot of kids now just fall away from the away side.
Like it's becoming a very soft generation. You know, that's what I see. It's very soft. And like you said, people can't handle rejection.
Yeah, especially when they're young as well, and all kids develop at a different age. Like I can remember being like playing under 13s, and you had kids at 13 with like 6 foot. And then the kids that are then, when you get to like 17, 18, the kids that were small at 13 and then overtook these kids that were bigger, do you know what I mean, type thing. So everyone develops differently physically. Everyone develops mentally at different times. Some people can lap up and take on that big stage. Some people just need a little bit more time. You know, managers as well. Some, you know, man managers. I think managers are really important by the way they manage people.
Totally.
And I think managers that are just stuck in the ways and they've only got one way to deal with 24 egos is not going to have, you know, real much success as a manager. I think
you see that a lot these days. Yeah, you see with certain managers now, say, let's take especially, I would see, you know, like Mourinho and Benitez, who were so successful in their day, and they were probably the best manager in their day, but they will not change their ways. And you see now when they manage clubs, the players won't accept them anymore, and they're gone in like 6 months, 9 months. So like that's huge. And also it's like even you're saying with the man management and people developing, you know, and it's all opinion. You see again, some players suddenly he's on the bench, or he's not even in the squad, but a new manager comes in, suddenly he's getting a game and he's been one of the star players. So this is, I suppose, a cutthroat area of the world that it's everything's down to opinions.
Exactly that, yeah. So that's a great example of how a manager can see a player that he's not even making the squad, he's on the bench, another manager comes in, and that player's the best thing since sliced bread, and the fans are singing his name every week, and he's then gone on to play international. So you just need that self-belief, that determination, just work hard, leave no stone unturned, and just have that self-belief and that drive that you can do it. And if you face adversity or disappointment in your career, just knuckle on with it and crack on. You know, exactly. This is what I like to try and drill into people. I mean, my business partner's daughter, she's going through she's doing all the dance and stuff, and she's doing really well. And she come up against a little bit of rejection and stuff of late. And I told her exactly the same thing. You know, just crack on, work hard, work even harder. You know, and then now she's got a role in another role somewhere else now, a bigger role. You know, so that's just a great example of just working hard and knuckling down. And kids need to understand that, and even the parents need to understand that, because then they can then infiltrate that knowledge and wisdom into the children. Just persevere if you want it, that is.
Exactly. And like build a resilience and literally learn from every life lesson that you get, every obstacle, learn from it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that every child can be a footballer, because there's an element of, you need talent, you need the mindset, and you need, you know, I don't really like to say luck, so I think hard work and that generates that luck. But not everyone probably are technically good enough or physically, you know, can get to a certain level of strength or speed or stamina. But the same things apply if you don't make a football and you go into something else in life, you do something else, it's the same thing, because you still come up against these same challenges, whether it's sports or, you know, running a founder of a director of a business, CEO of a company, still you come up against these challenges. It's
like life, because I stress to my son all the time, like what matters, like I don't care if you only get 10% in all your results in school, but show the right attitude, show the right work ethic, genuinely give your best. And then if you do those 3 things in anything in life, doesn't matter what it is, relationship, anything, you then can only get the best results from that. So I think that's, again, the messaging to be drilled into people. Even as you said, from parents' point of view, let's take even with school and all, like it's not all about results. It's, again, preparing you for life should be the focus, as opposed to just results and jobs or whatever. create the right attitudes, create work ethic, create a desire to, if you have a dream, you're not going to give up until you get it, or at least give yourself the best chance of getting it.
For sure, yeah, sure. Yeah, so I mean, also like for me, it's all about longevity as well, just with the whole lifestyle that I've adopted over the decades, is aging well, slowing that aging process down and just basically feeling good. I mean, I've got different drivers now in my life. I want to be healthy for my son, and be like, say, a role model for him. I mean, I always train probably 5-6 days a week, and I just vary that with gym work, a little bit of five-a-side with the lads and stuff, and try and mix it a little bit of fun. Weights, and I've been doing a lot of been following the guy knees over toe stuff, so I've been doing a lot of sledging and all that type of stuff, enjoying that. But yeah, I just like to keep active, just also just to keep the body balanced and cleansed, and just probably more importantly, just to keep the mind balanced and happy.
Totally, yeah. And becoming a dad definitely changed your perspective on everything, doesn't it? Like it's a game changer that way.
Scary.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
It's amazing. My little boy's 5 now. It's just amazing to see him develop and come in his own. And yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you don't realize till you become a parent just the impact it does have. I remember the same for myself. Like when my son was born, it's like everything changed. Your perspectives change, your drivers change. You're so determined to be a role model, especially if you're of a certain mindset then as well. So you really just change your objectives.
He's got me around his little finger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously I've always been a self-driven, selfish, is that the right word? I don't know, probably selfish.
In a positive sense. So you see, the problem is society puts a negative spin on selfish when there's actually a hugely positive spin on selfish.
Yeah, sure. But obviously now it's like he's first. He's first on every occasion, and try and entertain him and do stuff with him, and then I try and do my bits around that, really.
Yeah, work your life around it.
Yeah,
you're saying about longevity. What age are you aiming to live for? Tell me.
Do you know what? Yeah, but people say this like, who knows?
Yeah, wherever.
Like, for me, it doesn't really matter. Even if I was to pass tomorrow, while I'm here, I want to be living a certain way and feeling a certain way while I'm here. I'm not saying what I'm doing is going to make me live to 200 or 100 or 120. For me, it's not about that. It's about why you're here, understanding what's going on, having energy, having that drive, that kind of lust for life. That's for me, that's all it is. And understanding, respecting my body, my temple, because I've been given this opportunity to experience this realm. So yeah, it's, if someone said, "Oh, you're going to pass tomorrow," I wouldn't then go and drink, have a load of drink. Just all the things that I shouldn't do. Type of thing.
Yeah.
If anything, I'd probably live it even healthier if I know where to.
Yeah. That's it. Do what you're doing and just ramp it up, because that's the thing. Like, we need to again get the world as a whole need to get more and more focused on living presently and making the best of today and living fully. Because, like I said, who knows what the hell is going to happen? We know we can live to supposedly 130, 200, but what's the point in doing that if it's a miserable existence? You're dependent on other people. You can't do what you want. Whether it be that it's just you're living a mediocre life, or literally because you're so ill that you can't enjoy it anyway. You're literally just being kept alive. You want to live vibrantly and live energetically and live one that makes you happy. It's the most important thing, really.
Yeah, this is it. On paper, I want to be able to do stuff for my son. So when he's in his 20s, I'm still active. I always want that. I want to be training for as long as I can. Yeah. I've got no expectations or no real time frame on how long I want to be able to train for. If I'm going to pack it up, and I still feel great. Like I've got not one ache on my body. Yeah. Zero knee issues. But then I played football for 18 years. My body feels amazing. Yeah. I can train super intensely. I can, so at the minute I feel like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah. And that'll continue.
And carry that mindset on and carry on for as long as I can.
Yeah, because you won't be one of these dads who can be out of breath after 1 minute playing football out the back with their kids, and this is where so many people are. Like, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, in reality, we should be, again, vibrant, energetic, do what the hell we want. And this is where people can get to, this is where the take of personal responsibility comes in. We all have that choice every single day in the way that we live.
Honestly, we've got a 5-side team that we play on a Wednesday, Team Raw Sport, and all the team, it's like 6 aside, all of us are 40 plus, and we just play kids. It's local. We just play kids, and we absolutely dominate it.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 or 5 seasons now. We've been champions, like, and then teams have actually brought ex-pros in, semi-pros in. When they play against us, just like draft them in, like Burton Albion players and Gresney, and stuff like that. And it's like, no one can get near us because we're just so fit. We were all still really fit, and we're playing against kids in their early 20s. Just the difference is like, I'm like, if I was 20 in my early 20s, I wouldn't be having a load of old boys beating us. I wouldn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. You're too determined for it. Yeah,
I wouldn't have it. But it's great. It's great to be able to do that. Like, say, with my 2 business partners, and we have banter about it and stuff, and we have fun. And it's great to be able to do that at 40 plus, and just teach the young guns how to do it. Still, it's great. It's great.
It shows the power of lifestyle and the importance of lifestyle and mindset. Like, the two go hand in hand, of course. Like, you can live a good lifestyle, but you have to have the right mindset too, especially that kind of determination to win when on paper the odds are supposedly against you. But again, you're turning that around every week in your 5-a-side.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so you're saying, like, a lot of your mindset developed from resilience and from knockback and so on. And like, your first one then was like at 15, and then you finally got your contract with Notts County. So it takes a bit more through, again, your career, and again, the highs, the lows, again, things that kept developing your mindset. Yeah,
well, again, it's just, in my, 2011, I set up the business, Revolution Foods. I'd had a bit of success at Crawley, got a nice sign-on fee. And I was taking certain herbs and stuff while I was playing, and felt great from it. And then I inspired my 2 best friends to start taking the herbs as well, like the seaweeds and stuff like that. And they felt great, and was like, I think it makes sense to start selling this stuff. I want to get it out there to people. So Gareth was a school teacher at the time, and Ryan was a road liner. So he wasn't really in a real good job. He wasn't really in a good place. He didn't really enjoy going to work and stuff. He was just going for the motions of earning an income. And so I funded the business through my sign-on fee, and Gareth and Ryan basically did all the logistics. We set it up in my best friend's garage. We had 3 or 4 products. Then Gareth would obviously come from school, and Ryan would come from his road lining job, and they go to the garage, pack them up, take them down to the local Royal Mail, and kind of started from there, really.
Back then when you started, actually, like, just to take there, right, you started in the garage, you decided, here, look, these are doing us good, let's start selling a few of these and make a few quid and help other people. The way you said about your vision, I just want to be a footballer no matter what, you got over that, and there was nothing going to stop you. What kind of vision did you have for the company at that point, when you were just making a few products in the company? Do you have a huge vision, or has it just developed into a big company?
Yeah, so I was 30, so I was like 29/30, 31, might have been 2011.
Yeah, around that,
yeah. So it's like, we just went with it. I wasn't thinking I'm coming towards the last stage of my career, I want to set something up for that. It was just the timing. Just the timing. I'd come under some money with Crawley, we had back-to-back promotion, 5th round FA Cup, played at Old Trafford, 75,000, great experience. And I just literally invested all that money into setting up the business, and didn't really have any kind of expectations with it, really. It was just something that we just wanted to do at the time, because it just felt right to do. Because we was all feeling great from the products, we was getting great feedback, great results with the small customer base that we had. So it just kind of went from there, and we were seeing success. We had no real experience or understanding how to run a business. We just found a great supplier. We brought ingredients in, we packed them, we sold them, brought, packed, sold. Didn't really think about marketing or anything like that. It was just, let's try and get this product as quickly as we can to people. And he just had a great response at the time. Obviously, if it was now, we would have had a bigger response, quicker response, because the awareness now is so much bigger. So you can imagine back then, when I'm like, in my mid-20s, when I actually started implementing these kind of foods, teammates and stuff, and managers were like, it's a bit of a weirdo, this guy. Like,
yeah, that's one thing back in your career, because like, obviously you're quite different in the way, even your determination, type of way you were training at 1 a.m. Also the types of foods you were eating. Were you vegan back then, or when did you go vegan?
Yes, so I turned vegan give or take, it's around 23, 24.
Right. So young, yeah. So most of your career, most of your professional career.
Yeah. So imagine back then how difficult it kind of was, even to source vegan food back then.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So I went down, and this is a part of the reason why I actually went from, I'd kind of say, a junk vegan to like a conscious vegan, because I was consuming, you know, like the soya stuff and the soy,
all the fake meats.
Meats and the fake processed margarines, soy margarines and all that. And I didn't feel good when I did that. You know, it just, something didn't sit right internally. I was like, this, you know, surely I should be feeling better than what I am. I mean, it's better that I'm not eating this stuff, but I'm not feeling like I'm thriving.
Isn't that the myth about vegan though? You know, people assume, oh, I'm vegan, I'm healthy, but a lot of vegans are actually so unhealthy because they're consuming all processed food.
Yeah, and all of the damaged fats and the processed foods, you know, and people are not consuming whole foods. And this is where it kind of took me to eat real whole food, plant-based. This was key for me. Not just eating, you know, convenient, fast mock meats. You know, it's about getting the real vibration in food. And then when I did it, when I like filtered out the soya and started putting in like the quinoas and the superfoods and stuff like that, that's when I was like, yeah, this is how you're meant to feel. This is what I've been after, you know.
And your teammates and manager and all the various, you know, backroom teams, I think this guy's a serious freak.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the players weren't that bad. I used to get banter, you know, about it and naturally, I think I had a couple of managers that I think looked to me and didn't really understand me. I think some of the managers didn't really understand the fact that I didn't want to drink a lot, stuff like that. I can remember
it was still the culture back then, sure, drinking after training, even in matches,
Yeah, I can remember even when I was at Crawley Town, so in my like early 30s, just after set up the business, I had what my coach say to me, "Oh, just get a burger, just get a steak and a pint in you."
Even the manager saying that.
He was like the assistant manager at the time.
Oh yeah.
And just the mindset of that and why you'd say that to me, being a professional athlete, surely you should embrace me being a professional. You know, I think some people find it difficult when they see someone do something that they don't understand or can do themselves. It seems, I don't know if they feel threatened by it. I don't know, but I just found that weird. It's always kind of stayed with me.
Probably a bit of that, like it's like with you, like they should have seen you as an example to lead to the others. Here, look, you know, you should try some of this stuff, or even get you to talk to lads a bit more. It's no different than like saying the late 80s, early 90s, when the foreign players started coming in a lot more, and hear a lot of ex-players talk, well, you know, they came in and they were eating this food and that food, they never drank, and we were going out for beers after training. Like, what the hell is wrong with these guys? But now, as you know, like it's morphed into where they're like finely tuned athletes, and just most of them wouldn't even touch a drop of alcohol or anything. But back then it was seen as these were the freaks, when these ended up becoming the examples that the modern football is driven by.
Yeah, well, the manager at the time, Steve Evans, he was very just what you just said then. He was very vocal and he praised me, and you know, he loved that I was just different, or just I was just living my way the way I see fit. So he kind of loved that about me. It was the assistant manager that kind of just threw in that little jab, you know. But yeah, I do think those managers do kind of think, oh, if you don't do what everyone else doing or do what he's used to seeing, it probably could have a negative impact on you, you know, which is a shame. It shouldn't be like that at all. Like, you know, you should embrace. At the end of the day, ultimately, if you're performing on the pitch and you're super fit and people could see that, it wasn't like I was unfit and wasn't playing well, and then you could probably question it. But I was, you know, one of the best players I got in the team of the league and stuff like that. And yeah, did really well, and my fitness was phenomenal.
Yeah, these things are changing now, and even like there's more and more football. Like I imagine there's far more vegan footballers than we are aware of. At least more and more are coming out saying that they've adopted this lifestyle and it's benefiting them.
Exactly. So since then, it's been a tenfold in the awareness of plant-based or adopting more plant-based foods. You know, and I've gone from being like, I mean, obviously when I was doing it, I was very, like when you do something and you just feel great from it. You just want everyone else to feel what you're feeling. And if people don't adopt it, you feel frustrated. It's like, how can you not want to feel good?
And especially on a team, like you want success, like you're driven, you want the team to do the best they can, and then if others aren't embracing, it's frustrating as hell.
So I was that pushy vegan, even parents and stuff like that. And I think it's just a process that you go through, and it's kind of funny looking back. But now I'm very different. Now I'm more of in the mindset of just because I just know that people ain't going to change. People only want to change if they want to change, or if or if a scenario drives them to look at something different. But I always say to people, just try and source the best foods you can source. Even if you eat meat, it's like, listen, there's no humane way of slaughtering an animal. That's
100 facts.
But try not to support factory farm conventional meat dairy industry, because it's barbaric. So a cow that's been reared in a more of a loving natural environment, I'd say to people, even though the outcome's the same for the animal, and I've seen people say there's no, do you know what I mean? But
it's still different.
There's a difference, because the difference is the quality within the meat is
100%
better. So it's a better quality. I'm not saying it's the best, and I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. It's a better quality. That animal's lived a better life. No one can argue that, even though is it right, is it wrong? But that animal's lived a better life. It's been in its better environment. It's going to be better if you consume it for yourself, because it isn't going to have all the trauma, the antibiotics, the
less toxicity, like that's things.
Foods, whether you should eat meat or not, that's a different question. Do you know what I mean? I'm saying,
totally.
In this day and age, people eat meat. So choose the better option. This is what I say. Try and eat organic where possible. Try and eat all biodynamic if possible. But in this day and age, because financial stresses and lifestyle, people don't have time to do this. People don't have the finances to do it. And people are just eating just to fill a void and not have that understanding of what you put in your body ultimately equates to what you become. Every cell recycles over a period of time. So our biggest impacts on our personal biochemistry is what we put in our mouth. Because if we fast, the body heals, right? It's only our environment that slows down that process and stops our body from doing that. So the waters you drink, the food you put in the mouth, that then has a correlation on the biochemistry of the physical. That will either feed it or break it down. So people need to understand and grasp that a lot of people just eat, it's more for emotional purposes, and they don't have that connection, that consciousness that what they're putting in is equally going to make or break the body every time they consume food. So people just eat, fast, convenient foods. It's just, to fill a job, just to feel satisfied, just to, just have something, just to then I can crack on and do what I got to do. And then they need to put more onus on what they put in. This is why we're seeing a massive rise in mental health. Again, what you consume is basically going to, like 70% of your immune system's in your gut. So all these foods, like the pesticides, the GMOs, the hybridized foods, the processed foods, this is all going to have a negative impact on the gut microbiome. And then that's then going to affect neurotransmitters, because your first brain is your gut. People say the gut feeling.
Exactly.
This is what hears what's going on before the brain.
It's like your GPS, basically. I call it your internal GPS.
Exactly that, So this signals to this, through the serotonin and dopamine and neurotransmitters and stuff like that. So when this is dysfunctions, the way you think here is going to be also, malfunction. So, it's through antibiotics, through vaccinations, through not coming through the birth canal, this is deep stuff. People don't realize. When we come into this world, we come into this world on a negative, because, like you say, again, a lot of people are opting for C-sections now. So when you have a C-section, listen, and I'm not saying like my boy was born C-section, born circumstances like the mum had issues.
Had to be done, yeah. Sometimes it's a necessity for survival. Yeah.
Exactly. But people are opting for it. And listen,
and they do for aesthetic reasons a lot of the time.
Aesthetic reasons, yeah. But I'm saying if you can have if you are able to have a baby naturally under the circumstances, then I would recommend that. But, because the baby then comes through the birth canal, it gets squeezed, so they lose the fluid on the lungs, and then they also get the vernix, which is your first probiotics. That's your first defense. And then breastfed, a lot of people then opt to stick them on formulas.
Yeah.
And then all this type of stuff. This is where the immune system gets compromised from day dots.
Exactly, right from the very start. Yeah.
Day dot, yeah. Because even when you come through the birth canal, I mean, I think now it's a little bit different. It's more holistic now, I think, nurses and stuff, and midwives and whatever. But straight away, they wipe the vernix off the baby. So it's like,
yeah.
I should leave that.
Instant cleansing, sanitation on overdrive.
It will just drive off, and that then obviously then being breastfed, and this is how you build a healthy baby. And then from then on, once the mum and the father has that connection, what they put in, they can heal the baby then through the breast milk. So if the baby has any issue, you heal the mum. You don't heal the baby, you heal the mum. Baby's got a cold, load up vitamin C, load up copper, whole food vitamin C, and stuff like that. And then that comes through the milk into the baby. You don't detach the baby, you heal the mum, that heals the baby. This is where, so then babies are then put on Calpol and all different kind of stuff. Then they start having adverse reactions from that, and then you give them then antibiotics. Then that wipes out the microbiome from day dot. So what chance have we got? And then from there on, then we create autoimmune. This is where you get the hay fever and food intolerances and all this type of stuff. This is where it all stems from.
That's how you start, and that's quite a common start. Where you described there is a common start for the vast majority.
Yeah, C-section, formula, Calpol.
Yeah.
Straight away the physicals in a negative state. Where it's going to be, it's going to take quite a bit of work to reverse that. And then from the top of that, vaccinations, but I probably don't want to go there.
Yeah, that's a whole different area. But the bottom line is, it's more toxicity. Everything's more and more toxicity. And thing is, where medication has a role, of course, in certain situations, it's always the first port to call now in every single situation. It'll be vaccinations or general medications or Calpol, like you mentioned. But every single one has side effects. So every single one will lead to something that's negative. Every single one will typically lead to the need for another medication, which then has another side effect. And then it's just an endless sea of toxicity, basically, even into a baby that's only 1 or 2 years of age. And then that typically continues throughout life. So when people be in pains and aches and diseases and everything even now as young as 20, and even kids now, young kids get cancer now. But these things weren't heard of before. But look at the toxicity that people are being bombarded with.
Exactly this, and this is what we're seeing. We're seeing, an pandemic of this overweight, obesity, and allergies, autoimmunity, colitis, just inflammation of the body because we're putting in processed, highly inflammatory foods, damaged fats, and all the hormone-ridden food that we're kind of eating, and we're not eating organic foods from the ground.
Yeah, and it goes back to natural. The more natural something is, even if you're going to have something that is a product, at least get something that man has done as little as possible to it. It's even go back to breastfeeding again. It's a natural thing that a baby should be fed. Everything we go back. What is the most natural form? What was the first stage? Literally, you grew it yourself, or the next stage after, or as close to that as you possibly can.
Exactly that, and it's kind of. It's just frustrating, to see that we've come so far away from that place of not the normality, natural nature. Just having trust in the process, faith in nature. Like the word organic winds me up, to be honest, because it really should be a word.
Yeah,
it's like everything we should be consuming should be organic.
Yeah, just naturally so. Yeah.
But now we pay a premium to eat normal food. Because organic is normal. Right?
Yeah. The stuff that's good for you, you go to a health food store, everything's way more expensive. The thing is, so you're paying more for something that's healthier, let's say, or even something as simple as
you pay more for something that's normal.
Yeah, exactly. Normal.
And so then you have to question what you are eating. If you're not eating normal foods, then what are you eating?
Exactly.
You eat in a load of, 500 plus chemicals, fungicides, pesticides, herbicides, all this type of stuff, which can have an adverse effect on a cellular level. And this is why we're seeing, for me, this is why we're seeing a massive rise in cancers.
Yeah, totally. So you can look at the difference in it now. Like, and again, it's getting younger and younger and younger, which is showing the only way that can be happening is that people are becoming more and more toxic, reaching a certain level of toxicity at a younger level. That's literally activating those cancer cells. And then it's basically starting, and it just develops and develops and develops. And before it was more a 60-year-old, let's say, disease. Now there's children getting it. How is that happening unless they've got a certain level of toxicity?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So you have to you really have to question what has really changed over these last few decades, and there's definitely been the introduction of pesticides, herbicides, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. All the different industries, like look at, again, the food industry, medical, pharmaceutical.
Yeah, the pharmaceutical, 100%, the pharmaceutical for sure. Because really you'd think with advanced technology and the finances and understanding we have now, we should be negating a lot of these things.
It should be the opposite of the way it is now.
But like they're getting kind of worse, getting more prevalent in people, and people are like accepting that so-and-so's got this and got that, and so-and-so died at that age, and it really shouldn't be accepted. You need to be questioning why it's happening, and try and get back to that place where it wasn't so, prevalent, So
yeah. But so you look at the industry that you're in, like if you look at the amount of companies that are out there, how many of those companies are actually creating products that are good for your health? Like it's a minute number, because again, at the end of the day, money is what counts, profits what counts. And it's like even I always say to people, like people assume the health and wellness industry wants you to be fit and healthy. Of course it doesn't, because if everyone's fit and healthy, there's no money in it. Same as like for medical, pharmaceutical, food industry, whatever. So unhealthy people are cash cows, basically. If you look at your industry, and that's where I know you're so passionate about making sure your products are the highest quality. Look at the shit that's in most of those products, and look at the price people are paying for stuff that's toxic for their body.
Yeah, it baffles me, to be honest. And this is the core ethos that we had from day one. We didn't ever want to bring out a business that was just profit driven. We got into this business because we all felt an impact and a positive change from what we was doing. And that was the driver for the business. We wanted other people to feel this. So to go away from that now would be disastrous. It would never happen. We third party lab test everything that comes in. We don't even take the word from the supplier, what they say. We then do our own independent testing in house. So we know, because we've had, say for example, something that's been organic, something that's been wild crafted. Now on paper, people will probably think the thing that's organic is going to be better. But when we've independently tested it, the thing that's been wild crafted has been cleaner. So we'd always opt for what's better. We're not just because it's organic, we're going to go for what's better, cleaner for the products. So that's our whole ethos within the business.
That's something I've loved, like watching the growth of the company, over the last few years. Like, the ethics and the integrity stands out all the time in the way you speak about your products and the way you take so long even to bring out a product. Like even with the bars, what is it, 5 years or something of testing and procedure to get to just make a bar, when there's other companies, I'm sure, churn out a bar in a month because they just see the moolah, So, and they are most of the time, it's just toxic chocolate bars, really, for a lot of the bars are out in the market, So like, it's great you've stuck to that. And this is the problem, again, that people get turned squeezed by money. But I've always believed if you're good at something, you do things for the right reason, money comes anyway. You don't have to chase money. Money just comes if you put out the right energy.
Exactly, and that's definitely the same mindset that I've got. Like if you deal quality in people, because to me, if you bring out cheap products that are not going to have the effect on people, you're not going to get repeat business.
Exactly.
And where we're at as a business, because we've never had that big marketing budget, people have to feel the difference and buy into what we do. Because if not, it's going to be hard for us to compete in this industry, because it's a monster industry.
Big time. Yeah.
Big corps, back in companies with big marketing budgets. So it's like, how do we, so my mindset was like, how do we stand out if we've got no money to market to people? We have to have a USP. The USP has to be quality. It has to be unique blends. We need to be doing what other people are not doing. This is why, we kind of reinvented the kind of protein industry and the plant-based industry, because I just didn't want to bring out a generic blend that was just a soy, pea, hemp. We looked at it and we looked at the physicality of someone when they train, and it's not all about protein. When you train, obviously muscle.
It's another myth, another big myth out
muscle
there.
breakdown does occur for sure, but you perspirate, inflammatory response, happens. You want the immune system's compromised. So we just wanted to bring something that added more than just protein, added, like I say, the electrolytes, anti-inflammatories, even like say the probiotics that we put in there. We kind of reinvented the kind of industry really, and everyone's kind of looking at us now, ripping off our products, copying us, type of thing. So
yeah, always going to happen. Like people are always trying to.
It's always going to happen, and it's good.
Others.
And I'm glad it's good because
compliments. That seems a compliment.
It's a compliment, and more people are bringing better products out for people. So it's, for me, it's good because then it then keeps us on our toes, and we want to keep improving and innovating as well. But like I say, ultimately, the quality has to be. We never compromise quality within the business. So that's the ethos that we'll always stand by.
Yeah, it shines through. Like I said, it shines through in what you do, and we speak about your products. And also, like, you've quite a lot of professional athletes now that are taking the products and like openly, genuinely, again, how genuine their testimonials are just screams through versus being typically orchestrated, scripted type things you see with most companies. It's
amazing. I'm super proud that a few guys in a small town, Burton-on-Trent, have been able to capture. I mean, we just had Lewis Hamilton buy 40 odd bags off us of protein, which is amazing, but so frustrating at the same time, because we're not able to tell the world, and the world's not able to see this, because I know if the world was known that Anthony Joshua buys from us every month, Lewis Hamilton, GB athletes, Manchester United, Man City, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Team GB, we look after an array of athletes, but because we haven't got the finances to be able to get them to endorse it, get them as like a paid ambassador, we can't speak about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if the world knew this, our business is global and, billions of pounds overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it is frustrating, but we just have to keep on doing it, and we will get there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like anything. Once you keep taking the steps, you have to get there. You have that vision, and there's a certain number of steps to get there. And once you keep moving forward, you have to get there. And this thing people have to realize in life in general, no matter what their dream or goal is, like there literally is a certain number of steps. And once you keep taking the steps, it becomes inevitable to get there. It's just the people who don't have the consistency, they don't have the patience, they don't have the belief or the drive often as well. Plus they like to hide behind excuses and the blame game. No different, we go back to the resilience. Like when you were back 15, got that first rejection, you could have done the poor me, you could have blamed everyone except for yourself, and you wouldn't have got any career, almost definitely, Whereas you said, "Feck this, I'm going to do whatever I can, run at 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to make sure I give myself the best possible chance." And then a year later, then you get a pro contract. So, you're testament to that and proof of it.
Yeah, exactly. So like I say, we keep on going, and, we didn't, like I say, we got in the Spring Agile products. That's ultimately why we did it. Growing the business now and being really successful from it, that's all a bonus. It's all a bonus now, and it is, I'm doing it with my two best friends and business partners, and that's great as well, because the old ethos in the business it's just pure. It's just like we haven't signed no directors agreements or anything like that. It's all based on trust and love, and this is how we wanted it, because we was like, we did bring a fourth person on board who's really experienced in growing a business. And he coming initially, and he was like, "Yeah, we need to get this in place, directors, contracts, and da." And we was like, "Do you know what? No."
Not interested.
We're not doing that. We want it based on, all three of us made a pact that whatever happened in the business, we'll never compromise our friendship, because we've all been best friends since me and Gareth, 7 and 8. 6, 7, 8, been best friends. So we know that whatever happens in business, we're never going to fall out over it. Yeah, we have disagreements, we have different things where we should be doing things in a certain way, but ultimately we just always, if it ever comes to that kind of, we just have a vote, the four of us, it's like yeah, that's it, and everyone accepts it, and that's kind of it, and that's it really. So it's beautiful to go through this journey with also my two best friends, because
it's been amazing.
They're so passionate, and without them we don't have a business. I'm like the front man. I've never really been hands-on within the business, but they have. I mean, they've obviously got better roles now, but for years and years and years, and only up until quite recently, They were in the packing room, you know, with green powder in the hair and stuff. Doing the grimy parts of the business that people don't see. You know.
But that's it. It goes back into the hard work and the work ethic, you know, and determination. Like it goes right back to that, and just doing what needs to be done. Yeah,
because like I say, we manufacture everything as well, because that was really important for us as well. We wanted to source all the ingredients from source and then manufacture ourselves. We didn't want to let that go. We didn't want to give that responsibility and onus onto someone else, because then we can be accountable for anything. If anything goes wrong, like we can oversee every step of the process, from the raw ingredients to the finished SKU. So we go through every process within that, and that's great. And it's great seeing we started in the garage, now we're selling in 70 plus countries now worldwide. Yeah. So it's been a great journey, and long may it continue.
And only really the beginning, with what's happening, the development. Of course, frustrations there, but the fact that these people are now taking it and regard it with the level of credibility that they invest their money in it at that kind of elite level, you're only going to keep growing, and the graph will keep going strong.
The growth that we can get is, it can be a monster of a business. It can be a monster, and that's always been my vision, but without compromising it. So I've always said from day dot, how do you get to be a global brand without selling out?
Yeah.
Doing something untoward or offering a shit product. I'm like, surely it can be done. Surely you can create a global brand doing things right.
Yeah.
And that's always been my mindset, and I don't think I'll be happy until I achieve that.
And no doubt. And I think, again, like that, I think a big thing is to be happy to need to be patient, and it will take longer, versus people wanting everything fast. And I think that's where people sell out, especially. They want everything fast. What to do it fast? And they compromise all their values and compromise like that shit products and everything just to make the quick buck, versus the way you're doing is one that's based on authenticity, integrity, and most important of all, passion.
The one thing about us, we are super resilient. I've got friends down in London that are like, Dean, I can't believe you've been in the business so long, and Like I would have given up. I would have lost my head. I would have, It's like, because people want it all now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I understand when you've got something like what we've got, it's more than that. It's a journey. It's like, say, it's a lifestyle. It's a movement. It's a lot than just that.
Yeah.
Physically, spiritually, emotionally.
Yeah. Because it's hard to make a positive impact, basically, which is what you're doing, and one positive impact leads to another. And if someone has a positive impact, they can positively impact other people. And this is where, like in the world in general, while there's so much elements of the world is, completely rotten, if people can just embrace, again, acting out of love and passion and doing the right thing more, that can radically change very, very fast. It's just for people to kind of change that mindset.
Yeah. And I think this is where we need to get to as a collective. We need to get back to that. Like I say, it's just a domino effect. It's infectious. It's great to see all the testimonies we'll get. People have literally been at suicide level to changes in life, where they're vibrant and got that lust for life, and you know what I mean. So but that alone is priceless. You can't put a price on that.
Completely.
And we hear these testimonials in abundance on a daily, so we get a lot of gratification and satisfaction. From that, to take away the monetary side of the business, because like I said, that is what it is. The business is doing well. It's self-sustained. It's been a slower journey because we've not took investment. Because we've had investment people contact us, and equity firms and stuff like that, but it's just not been right. Just not been right for the business. So if we were to do anything like that, it'd have to be on our terms, and it has to be right for the business. We don't want this business being compromised in any negative way. We work too hard, for this. So again, we'll just persevere with it, and just may take a little bit longer, but we'll still get
exactly. Yeah. Like your unique example, in the modern corporate kind of world, which is great to see. There needs to be more examples like this. If people want to find out more information about the products, the company, or the products, where's the best place for them to go?
So we've got, like I said, the two websites. So we've got www.revolution-foods.com, and then we've got rawsport.com. So again, all the products are made in the same manufacturing. a lot of the products are the same. We just Raw Sport. We just wanted to bring out a sport nutrition brand because we just wanted to get into that market. It's a little bit more aggressive. Revolution Foods is I'd say it's more of a feminine brand. It's more health. It's a little bit
holistic health, that kind of level.
Yeah, like we go more for like a kind of plant-based vegan audience. Because that's the way we kind of shaped up. And now with Raw Sport, we're actually finding that we're attracting more non-vegans.
I saw your research recently, actually. That was very interesting to see. Was it something like 70% were not vegan or something?
Yeah. I mean, give or take, this is obviously the response that we got from, from my database, but it was overwhelmingly towards non-vegan.
It was interesting. Yeah.
That was, and for me, that's where I want to take the business, because it's like, if you're plant-based vegan, then you're vegan. If we can make an impact on the non-vegans and get people to eat less meat or make better choices, for me, that's where the magic happens. You know,
just going back to what you said earlier about, again, for people to start making live consciously in their decisions and to eat more like real food. So, it's like for that, such a pretension of choosing your products and the fact it's actual real high quality food.
Yeah, so you got to think, if we can, stop millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people to consuming whey protein, what kind of an impact that can have on the environment?
Exactly.
And because the whey protein now industry, it's just a byproduct of cheese. It's just a waste product. They've been able to shift onto people now.
That's the mad thing that people don't get, and I tell people all the time, like, it was a waste product. They threw it away, and then someone had brain of, here, let's freeze this, whatever way they do it, dry it out, make it powder, and then sell it for a mad money. Something used to throw away. So it's like instant 100% profit.
Oh yeah, because it costs the dairy industry to get rid of it. Now they can make it lucrative.
And it's so crap and it's so bad for our systems. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't get on with it, at all. It's not even just the way as well, it's all the stuff they then add on to it in there and that, to it. So it's just, so like I say, if we can get people to come away from whey protein, even if they want to carry on consuming meat and fish and whatever.
It's a positive step.
It's a positive step, and I think we should get applauded for that. And I think it's great. It's great to see that, and also we've created a brand, a plant-based, because obviously plant-based got the stigma of probably not being aggressive, being feminine. You can't really build muscle on it.
Yeah, you're counteracting myths a lot,
Yeah, so it's great that we can create a brand that's appealing to that audience, and people are understanding, and it's testimony to the team really with the branding and the product development that we've done, that we've been able to attract that audience. So
no, it's great to see, as I said. And look, Dean, you've done amazing work in what you've done yourself and your partners with this company. You had an incredible career, and what's the most important thing for people to get from it is, when you get knockdowns, even especially at a young age, to just don't give up. Like, if you have a dream, don't give up, and keep at it and at it and at it. And even if you don't get there, you still will have a far more fulfilling life than you would have had if you give up on your dream, and literally you have a life that's filled with regret. Like, you're in the last few breaths and you regretted not digging deep and keeping going.
Exactly, because that mindset will, like you say, it will stem onto other things in your life if you don't make, for example, a footballer or a runner or whatever you want, a cyclist, whatever you want to be. It's you owe it to yourself to give yourself the best chance. For sure. But I just think, for me, it's cliche and it's old school, but it's hard work gets you results.
100%.
Sacrifice and hard work.
It's the same ingredients for every area of life, for every goal, for any change you want to make in your life. Just, again, dig deep, work hard, stay focused, and just don't give up. It's just how it is.
Exactly that. So yeah.
But it's been great having you on the Mind Body Health podcast, Dean. You shared a lot of great info, as I expected. And look, the biggest thing is, like, guys, make sure you follow Dean, because he shares his life across social media, and his life, again, is a great role model in terms of all the different things he does for his health, his well-being, longevity, as he spoke of, and also just, being a good person, and importantly as well, like myself, questioning everything then as well. So there's a lot of value you can get from following Dean in so many different areas. Like, Dean, it's been great having you on. Like, just keep up what you're doing. As I said, I highly admire and respect what you're doing, and just keep making a positive impact and leading with your heart and leading with passion.
Thank you, Dave. Really appreciate your kind words, and carry on doing the awesome work you're doing yourself. Because like I say, we need more people need to be sharing it. I think a lot of people fear sharing things, or fear people having an opinion on their opinion. But just I just think speak your truth, and I just think ultimately it's all going to be positive, and it will wake people up. And I think it's like I say, question things and try and be as healthy as you can, and embrace life and respect life, and have gratitude for life, and it's a great thing we've got. Life's great. Life's great.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great, especially, we all have the power to make it great. And this is where, again, we have to take control of that and live lives that are great, and whatever that means to us, like, and whatever happiness means to each of us individually. So, it's whatever you want it to be. It's just, we have to start taking responsibility for it and make it happen.
Yeah, just like you said in your intro, which I love that, it's ours. We control our destiny. We're literally doing it. It's empowering to have that mindset. Because when you take that power back and go, do you know what, I can change my life. It's in my hands. It's not in the third party's hands. It's not in the government's hands. It's not in their hands. It's not in my parents' hands. It's in my hands. And that's super powerful, to have that. So thank you.
Perfect message to finish off on, and the most important message of all. So guys, look, hope you enjoyed that podcast episode. Make sure you share it out there. Make sure you give a rating and review across all the different podcasting platforms, or if you happen to watch this on YouTube, check out previous episodes. But most importantly, share this out there. We need to get these messages out here, just like Dean was saying as well. And I always stress, we all have a power to make a positive impact on other people, and it's like a domino effect. So even you just sharing this particular podcast could have a great impact on a particular person, who then in turn can have a positive impact on someone else. And then it gets out of control then in a very positive way. So help us get this message out there. That's it for myself, Dave Sheahan, for the Mind Body Health podcast for this episode. Look forward to speaking to you on next week's episode.